Hello! Today we will be talking about users and groups in Primavera Unifier. Specifically, how to add them to shells and grant permissions to allow them to work within different areas of Unifier. So first off, you want to make sure that you're in the company workspace, and then you also want to make sure that you're in administration mode, which you can do by clicking this gear in the top right corner here. And once it turns blue, you'll know you're in the right mode. And then you're just going to go down into user administration here. So you see here, there's a section for company users and groups. There's also a section for partner users, but we won't be going into that in this video. For company users, you'll see that you are able to add or manage any individual users in your company. And for groups, you can add or manage groups. While smaller operations can use individual users with no problem, it's often better to use groups as you can put those individual users into a bigger group and then manage the permissions that way, rather than adding each permission to each individual person every time you have a new user or every time you want to change permissions. So we will look at the company users first though, just to kind of show you how it works. So we have our individual users here. You can add a new one up here. So here you'll just add the general information such as name, title, email, that kind of stuff. You can add the login username and password. You can also add them to any groups directly from this page. You can also look at their individual permissions in this page. So you'll click on the permission that you want to give them and then check those permissions as applicable. There's also a projects and shells section here. Once you've added your user to different projects and shells, you will be able to see these listed here. And you can also see the programs that you've added them to here. And you can also add a proxy in case the user goes on vacation and you want someone specified who will be able to act in their place, do the kinds of things that they have permission to do but are currently on vacation and can't do. So once you have all that set, you do want to click apply and then OK. And then you'll have your user created. Once your user is created, you can always go in and edit things. So you can go in and change what groups they're in. You can change their permissions. You can also see what projects and shells the user is a part of, what programs they're a part of, and you can adjust their proxies, etc. And you always do want to make sure you click apply before you click OK when you're changing things. And importantly, when you do create a new user, you won't be able to delete them fully. If you don't want them to have access or permissions anymore, you're just going to go in and you're going to change their status from active to inactive or on hold. And then again, click apply and OK. So for groups, when you go into groups down here, you can add a new group. It's pretty simple. Just click new here. You're going to add your group name, and then you can add the members you want to have in your group. And then you can also add the permissions that you want the members in this group to have. And then you click OK and you have your new group. And you can also add members to existing groups. So you just go into, for example, project administrators. Then you have your members here. So these are all the members you have. You can always add new ones. Or at any time, you can remove users from your group if you don't want them to have those permissions anymore. And then in here, you can adjust the permissions that the members in the group have. And it's just a really nice kind of easy way to get these new permissions for individuals without having to go through each person every single time you add someone. So that's how you add and manage company users and groups. If you have a new shell that you want to add people to, you're going to go all the way down here to company sponsored shells. And we're going to look at project shells. So we'll click on this project here, which will open up this menu down here. We'll go into user administration and users, where you can add individual users to the shell. You do that by clicking new, clicking the user from the company workspace that you want to add, and then you click OK. And then once you have your person added, you can click into them and adjust their permissions, much in the same way that we did it in the company workspace. You can also add them to groups within the shell. And if you don't want them to have access to the shell anymore, you can always make them inactive or on hold so they don't have those permissions anymore. And then you click apply and OK. Now you can also go into groups to create groups for the shell. You do that by clicking New and make sure you have your group name set. Then you can add the members that you want in this particular group. Click OK. And then you can add their permissions once again, much in the same way you add permissions to groups in the company workspace. Now, when you click OK, you'll have a new group created. You can also add members to existing groups or remove members from existing groups. So we'll go into Project Administrators here. You'll see all the different members, and we can add more or remove current ones. And we can also change the permissions for this group for the specific shell. Now, these groups here are specific to the shell. Unfortunately, pre-existing company workspace groups and memberships belonging to those groups can't be brought over into a shell. And one more thing, there is another way that you can look into users and their permissions is you can do access control. So access control, you kind of work backwards. So you go into the area that you want people to have access to, and then you can add the groups or you can add individuals this way. This is a great way to add many different people if you're just looking at permissions for the one module or the one area. But it can get very tiresome if you have one person you want to add to many different modules. So just another way to add users and add permissions. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.